welcome back to the Cornish Stitcher. This is my podcast about all things knitting, crochet, crafting, sometimes cross stitch, sometimes some normal embroidery, lots of crafty things. So if this is your first time here, hi, my name is Ness, and I live in southeast Cornwall. We live in a multi-generational household. So I live with my parents, my husband, my two boys who are 17 and 12, one dog, 3 cats, some fish. And we live about 7 miles inland from the coast. So we're nice and easy to reach to the beach. If you are new here, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with me. It was a beautiful sunny day here, but it's, so today is Tuesday the 28th of April as I'm filming this, and it's gone a bit cloudy. We've had beautiful weather for the past week, but it has gone a bit cloudy now and the nip in the air, so I think we might be about to have a rain shower. I'm coming to you from a different part of the studio today. I'm in my slightly comfy chair because the view from the other way was a tip, basically. There is lots of stuff all around where we are trying to sort out, mainly mum. So I share my studio with my mum, mainly her stuff. She's in the midst of doing a big de-stash and a big clear out. And so there are piles of yarn, various other crafty things, a cat scratching post, I don't know where that's come from, all in the midst of the background. So I've moved spaces. So unfortunately you have this view, which is, the view the other way is nicer because it looks out to the garden through the windows, but so be it. So I have quite a few finished objects, and apologies that it's taken quite some time between this podcast and the previous one. You may be able to hear I'm still quite sinusy, but we as a household have had it full blown. We ended up with COVID just at Christmas, and then everybody came down with like flu-y type things after that, and then my poor husband Matt ended up with pneumonia, which I then ended up with bronchitis on top of all of the other things. So we're all just coming out the other end now, and so, oh well, thankfully everyone's back at school, college, work, everything's all good. So yes, so yeah, to say welcome. So this today will take the format of a traditional podcast. So my finished objects, my works in progress, a little bit of life update. Yeah, I think let's do the life update first. So it's nothing major. We did manage to have a lovely few days away at Easter. And we decided to travel to somewhere, a part of the UK that we've never been to before. Ethan decided so Ethan, my eldest son, who's 17, has just been on a college geography A-level trip. So A-levels are if you're not from the UK, are essentially qualifications you take between your end of school at 16, you take these at 18, and they lead into university or work. And Ethan is doing geography, photography and media studies, and as part of his geography A-level he went to Iceland. I didn't have trips like this when I was at school, but yes, off he went to Iceland, and I'll pop a couple of pictures up here so you can see where the kind of things he saw. It was amazing, but because he had literally just returned from that, he decided to stay at home with the dog and my parents while we went away for a few days to the east coast of Britain. So I'm in an hour where to go, and I have my wonderful friend, Davina from Little Workroom Crafts. And if you don't follow her, go and follow her. Brilliant. Absolutely amazing multi-crafter. Wonderful person. Love Davina to bits. And she is absolutely just... love her. Anyway, we decided to combine a visit to that part of the country that we've never been to before. We've done lots of the East Coast, but never Suffolk and Essex. And so we decided to to go and have a few days over there so that we could also spend some time with Davina. And I'll pop a picture up here. We had the most amazing day with her on the Thursday. So we went to Costa, and if you know Davina, you will know how partial she is to a cinnamon bun, as is Monty, my 12-year-old. So they were in heaven for the whole morning. So yes, so we had a lovely time. We also went into Suffolk and ventured to where John Constable, the famous painter, painted his painting of the Hay Wain. So I'll try and pop. So the original painting is kind of, I'll put it up, and then it's in a completely unspoilt part of Suffolk where you can go to the same location and essentially see it as it was. It's beautiful. It's owned by the National Trust, so it's very protected. And yeah, we just had some lovely time with the three of us, just mooching around, really chilled out. Yeah, holidays are different these days with adaptations for health, but you know, we make the most of what we've got. So yes, so we had a lovely time away, and then back to school and college, and etc. etc. So yes, so finished objects. I'll start with what I'm wearing. So I am wearing the Night Blooms sweater. I'll pop a picture up here of me wearing it out and about. I finally finished it on Friday morning, and sewed all the ends in, and had finished it in time so I could wear it to Wonderwall Wales on Saturday, which I attended. So yes, I am really pleased with how it's turned out. So it's a pattern knitted in DK. The red contrast is knitted in Yarn Unique's Cranberry. Yes, Cranberry. And this is a King Cole Orchard. Bear with me, I've got my notes in my brilliant project planner that I got from Tilly Flop. I bought this at Unravel, and it's been really good for keeping. It's making me keep copious amounts of notes for my projects. So where are we? Night Bloom sweater, and I made it in in the King Cole Orchard in the colourway Bramley, as in Bramley apples. And it's I've got the label here. This is it. And it's 55% merino superwash wool, 45% anti-pilling acrylic, and you get 290 meters on 100 gram ball. So it works out really well. Put that back in there. Yeah, so I started it in November at the Lay Family Yarn retreat, but it had to be put completely aside once I got home from there because I had loads of gift knitting. So I didn't pick it up again until in kind of January time, I think, maybe end of January, and then finished it. I finished it a couple of weeks ago, but I hadn't sewn any of the ends in because it got really warm. So it was not, it wasn't really the weather. And then we had some cooler days, so I thought so I opted to do short sleeves because, as returning viewers will know, I'm on a weight loss journey. So I've currently lost 2 stone 10 pounds. Feeling quite proud of that. And I'm aware that next winter this might be, or hopefully will be, too big. So I chose to do short sleeves so that I can then layer it next year as well. And so that I hope I can get some more use out of it as time goes on. So yeah, I'm loving it. I love colour work. It's taught me that I really do love colour work. This is about the 5th or 6th colour work project, maybe more, that I've done, but it's certainly my first garment other than accessories, but first proper garment, and I love it. And it's opened the floodgates, I think, to future projects. So yeah, so I'm really loving it. It's a top down, and it's by Espace Tricot. I'll link it below. But yeah, I have a very long torso, it would appear, and when I first knitted it, it literally stopped just below the bust, and I had followed the instructions, and I did the fatal mistake of not checking before casting off, cast it off to the recommended length, and it was far too short, so I had to fall on the mercy of my wonderful friend AJ, who undid it, put it on the needles for me, and carried on for a good 3 or 4 inches extra. So it's taught me a lesson that I need to definitely check measurements before casting off, because that was a headache. Also, during the knitting process, here, I'm sure you can see here, it's on a circular needle, it's knit top down, and as I was gently, I wasn't doing it tough, but as I was gently pulling my cable through, the cable snapped, and so half the stitches fell off. So again, off I went to my knitting group with tears and tantrums, almost, not quite, but absolute bereft about all of this work being lost. And together we managed to salvage it so that I could redo it. But it has left a line, which is more visible in the camera here than it is in real life, but there is a line. So just be aware, cables are not tug proof, and it wasn't really I wasn't pulling it tightly at all. I've pulled far tighter. So yeah, lessons to oneself. So yes, that's my first finished object, and I'll link all the details below. My second finished object is I finished Monty's blanket. Woohoo! So you may or may not know, I was making Monty a scrappy granny square Elmer blanket so that he can snuggle up under it. He loves the blanket, particularly when everybody else doesn't. He still was under a blanket, but there we go, neurodiversity and all of that. Let's embrace it. This is a very neurodiverse household, so we have many experiences that neurotypical houses may not have. So yes, I will pop a picture up here of said blanket because it's in the house and it's very firmly stashed in his bedroom. So yeah, this is basically all of my acrylic scraps that I have in a box in a Kallax unit, and I just pulled them out randomly. There is no rhyme and reason as to the order they were in, or the order they were placed in, or the order that they were completed or finished, and it was just random. Monty calls it his Elmer blanket, so Elmer the elephant, I think that's rather apt. And yeah, so it's using a 4mm hook, and it was just all traditional granny squares for speed. And then I put on a 2 single crocheted borders, I think, all the way around. Yeah, just to finish it off. And he loves it, and he's never out from it. So it was perfectly suitable for him. Let's put it that way. Another finished project. I've been powering through them. When you're poorly, you get lots of crafting time. So I decided to make and join the bandwagon, and I made the sailor slippers. Now, this is an emotional roller coaster. So for those who don't know, the sailor slippers are made out of 100% wool, and I used Drops Snow, and I was using these colours here. So I chose those 4 colours to make the sailor slippers, and you stripe them, and you make them out of this yarn, which is huge, it's chunky, and you make them on 8mm needles, and they turn out about so big. And the idea is that you then put them in the washing machine and the tumble dryer, and you felt them to get them to the correct size. And I'll pop a picture up here of before and a picture of them after, and it is really good fun. I've left them in the house, but they're really good fun, but it is nerve-wracking putting them in excuse me, putting them in the washing machine is very nerve-wracking. Now the patterns, so I made them in hot pink and pastel pink. Those were my stripes. The sole is in dark grey, and the contrast edge is cobalt blue. And I'll put all those details down below. But yeah, as I say, it drops snow. And I made a size 6, UK size 6 for footwear. And as I say, they turn out massive and then they felt them down. Now, the pattern says to, depending on the speed and temperature that you wash and spin them at, will depend on how long. I put mine in for a mediocre wash, 40 degrees, for about an hour and 20 minutes, and they hadn't felted enough. So I had to spin them twice more, and then I had to end up putting them in the tumble dryer just to finish them off. But they fit perfectly. The pattern does suggest, and I can't remember what it's called, a spray to put on the bottom, because otherwise they are slippy. We have carpets predominantly through our house, however, not in our kitchen. And I would say if you are intending on using them and you have hard floors, then absolutely use the spray, because I forgot I was wearing them and walked in the kitchen and was like a bit like Bambi as my legs were going out. So just be aware they are very, very slippy if you don't treat the bottoms. But yeah, I love them. So they were really fun, quick make. I made them over in the space of about 3 days in February, just after half term. And they are really fun and quick. So yes, that's my 3rd finished object. I told you there were many. My 4th finished object is this. So this is just a headband that I put it on. It's very tight when I first put it on. I'll put a picture. So this was a headband I used, King Cole, isn't it? Firefly? Yeah. King Cole Firefly in the colourway Dragonfly. And it used less than a whole ball. And as you can see, I've done it all the way around. So I knitted it as if I was knitting a tube as a sock. I did it on circular needles, not magic loop, and then I grafted it at the end, not very well, because I wanted to wear it desperately. We went away to see Matt's friends for a couple of days, just overnight to North Devon, and it was cold. It was really cold, so I knocked this up in the 2 days before we're going, so that I could wear it round my ears. Particularly, I was still recovering from not being very well. And this was perfect because it's double thickness and it's so soft. And as you can see, the sheen on it is lovely. Yeah, so a really nice, easy project. I did it. I knit it until it was 38 inches long and then doubled it over and stitched together at the end. Yeah, and I love the colours. I love it. But it does, I think possibly it needed to be a little bit longer, because it stretches this way, but it doesn't particularly stretch this way because of the way I've grafted it. It's my own fault. It's nothing to do with the yarn, or it's just the way I did it. I should have added some rib really on the edge. But yeah, so that was a really quick and easy project that I loved making. And I also finished my Ooey Gooey. So this is my Ooey Gooey, and this one I will put on. So anyone would think I like reds, pinks and dark egg blue. Oh dearie me. Right, so this is the Ooey Gooey cowl by Andrea Mowry, and returning viewers will know that my Knit and Natter group have all made this. So we've all made this as a group project, and we've all made it in various different fibres and various different gauges and various different colours. So we have a whole range of them, and I will try and take a photograph of all of them together at some point so I can show you. But yeah, so I started this on the 30th of January. I'm not a monogamous knitter, but I finished it on the 18th of March. And mine is knit in Tencel by the company Nemolio, and they're at most yarn shows. Vida, who owns the company, is just spectacular, and I have to say, the Tencel, when you first pick it up, whilst it feels lovely, can feel a little bit rough. Think more linen-y type texture in the strand, and that's kind of how it was. But I was assured it would become drapey and become soft, and so I persevered, and I knitted this in 2 strands of each colour, and you get 165 meters on 50 grams, so it's probably a sport weight yarn, but it's quite thin and it's lovely. And so I held 2 strands together, and this is knit in the round. So as I say, it's Andrea Maru pattern. You knit it together, and then you're supposed to kitchen a stitch at the back. I didn't. I just stitched it together. Naughty me. But I absolutely love it. When I blocked it, it was it sucked the water like an absolute sponge. It sucked it up, probably more than any fibre I've worked with. And wringing it out was quite, you have to be quite delicate, obviously, not to agitate it. So doing that, I rolled it in my towel, and it still was very, very, very heavy from the water. It doesn't release the water as easily as it sucks it up. So I blocked it, and I could, do I have a photograph of it blocking? If I have a photograph of blocking, I'll pop it up. It's very long. And I blocked it flat before I sewed it together. And it took a good 3 days to block. It almost goes solid and stiff before it then, once it starts drying, it is the most drapey, soft, beautiful fabric possibly that I am a complete convert to Tencel. You can see it drapes lovely. It's the colours, it retains its shine. I'll show you. So there's a shimmer and a shine on it, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And I think the colours actually show up the pattern really well. I'm really, really pleased with this. This was a real success. So, and originally I didn't want to make it. Everybody else was making it, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure I like it enough. And then bear with me, I just need a drink. And I was like, do I want to make it? Do I not? And I thought, well, everyone else is making it, I might as well. And I'm so glad I did. I absolutely love it. But yeah, you can see it drapes. It's just, I wish I could get you all to feel it, because it's so lovely. So lovely. But yes, so if you were ever in doubt and wondering what Tencel works up like, I can tell you this particular Tencel anyway is just gorgeous. So yes, give it a go if you're wondering. And is that one more finished object? I told you there were a few. So this is the ends aren't sewn in. This is a experiment. I have had a design in my head for a long time to make this, but I'm not sure if anyone would like the pattern. So I thought I'll have a go. I'll work it out. I will try my design and see how we go. And I have made I love a headband rather than a hat, I have to say. And I need the end sewn in, so bear with. But I have made this. And this is a colourwork headband made of DK weight yarn. And yeah, I designed the colourwork chart. I'm in the process of writing it up. And yeah, I thought I might pop it on Ravelry for maybe £1, maybe free, I don't know, to anybody who might like it. So I'm just in the process of writing up. I do need to sew the ends in, so bear with me a second. But yeah, without my glasses. but as you can see, it comes down and it's the waves of the sea, without this ending, but it covers down the ears. Yeah, so I'm really pleased with how it's worked out. It looks in stitches how it looked in my head before I wanted it down. So and I've knitted this in, what have I made it in? Sanders Garn. Yes, Sanders Garn. I'll put the colours below or on the screen. Sanders Garn, which I got from Knit, the shop Knit KNITT, in Totnes, which is a second shop of Knit in Teddington in London. So yeah, and this is their yarn. So it's worked out really well. It's blocked lovely. So yeah, let me know if you like it, if you don't, if you can think of any improvements. Obviously, sewing in ends is an improvement I need to do. So it's finished all but the ends sewing in. But yeah, let me know if what you think in the comments. I need to cough. Oh, I'm back. Sneezing and coughing fit. Apologies. So works in progress. Let's have a go and have a discussion around those. So I have, apart from blankets, which don't count as whips, I have 3 main knitting works in progress and a new project for my cross stitch. So my 3 main works in progress start with this. So there's not much done on this at all yet. So this is a, so this is a new Tolster that I'm working on, in this colourway, which is beautiful, and it's Cotton Waves. Again, it's James Sibret. Cotton Waves. There you can see. And the shade is, let me consult my notes because I'm not entirely sure. No, that's the other one. The shade is Spring Smile WV01. So, and it's got loads of pinks, some yellows, some lilacs, and I think I'm just coming in towards some of the blues now. But as you can see, knit up in a Tolster, it's knitting up so nicely. I bought this last year when we were on holiday, and we went into Black Sheep Wools, and I think it was sort of one of their it was like a brand new release into the shop, and I just kind of saw it and went, oh, I love it. Cotton, perfect for summer. But I didn't have time. That was sort of the start of August, so I thought, I'll leave it till next summer to work on it. And so yeah, that's living in one of my project bags, and a yarn cozy from, actually, while we're on the subject of these, I mentioned my friend Vina from Little Workroom Crafts, and really sadly yesterday she announced that excuse me, that she's going to have to close her shop because of Etsy's massive hike in charges and the impact that that's having. So she is due today, I think, or tomorrow, as you're watching this it will be live, to do a massive shop update, but it will be her last shop update, and she's closing her shop down after that. So if you want any yarn cozies like this, go and give her a shout, because she's got some in there, I think, and project bags are amazing. Yeah, and then this is also one of hers, but this is for obviously 100 gram skein, or you can fold it down and it works as a 100 gram cake yarn cozy. So yeah, so that Tolster is, I'm making size 6. I've made size 7 previously, but obviously I've now lost weight and that's too big. So I'm making size 6 with the view that it doesn't matter again if it's slightly oversized, I can layer it up if I need to. I'm very much using my commercial yarn stash at the moment because I'm very wary of using my beautiful hand-dyed indie yarn, of which I have quite a lot. But I'm quite cautious of using that in garments that then, hopefully, fingers crossed, won't fit me within the next season of this. So not this, if they fit this summer, they hopefully won't fit next summer. If they fit this autumn, hopefully they won't fit next autumn. Where I can layer them up and use them again, absolutely perfect, I will. But equally, I'm trying to use my commercial yarn so that I don't end up heartbroken that something that I've spent quite a lot of money and time on isn't then wearable for very long. That's the plan. So in that vein, I'm very much in my cotton era, it would appear. And at the start of the year, I made a list. Returning viewers may remember it was a spider diagram of things that's just up there. That's why I'm looking at it. It's over on the wall. And I have had to change a couple of the things on there. One was a mohair cardigan, and I just did not like it. I did not like the way it was working up, or the gauge it was working on. So I swapped to one of my other cardigans on the list, and that is this one. So this is the everyday cotton cardigan, and it's in crochet. So this is a crocheted pattern. It's a free download on her webpage, I think, and you just have to sift through the advert. So I copied and pasted and printed it off that way. I am making size 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, size 6 again. It's really size inclusive. It goes from extra small all the way up to 3XL. It's cotton, so you have to be careful that it's not stretching. So I'm using this Cotton Waves by James C. Brett. This is it in the pack. This one is called Water's Edge. This is shade WV09. And this is how much I've done. So it is, you crochet the back like so, and then you come along and you pick up half the panel for the front. So I'm a good way down this panel now, and then you come pick up the stitches for this panel, and then you do the sleeves separately. Now I'm hoping, because it's crochet and it is working up quite quickly, started it at the end of March, but as I say, I was trying to finish this and I've had other projects on the go as well. I'm trying to be quite monogamous on this and the Tolster, because what I'd really like is we're going to Pembrokeshire for half term in May, half term holiday, just for a week in a little chalet, and I'd love to be able to take this and wear it on the cooler mornings or the cooler evenings and be able to wear that whilst we're there. So that is my aim for this. Whether I achieve it, we'll see. I'm not so good when I put time pressures on myself, but in some ways it motivates me. So yeah, and I am using, I love a beaded crochet, random bits of thread. Oh, bear with. Oh, you fell over. Right, I'm using my crochet hook, beaded crochet hook that I got from the Bright Stitch, yes, in Plymouth, a little local yarn store in Plymouth. And anyone who knows me knows I love pink, so Barbie was obviously the obvious choice. So that's living in this project bag, so put that down there. And then my final whip is, my final whip is this cardigan, which is a really old pattern, maybe a 15-year-old pattern, and I had it in my folder of patterns that I've been meaning to have a look at, and it's just a basic free knitting pattern from Lion Brand, and it's this one, and I'm making it in, brace yourself, a very bright colour. So I'm making it in this pink. Is that coming up? That's, yeah, that's pretty accurate. So it's a pieced cardigan. It's not an in the round cardigan. It's a pieced cardigan. So this is the back. You do it the back, the sides, the arms, and then the seam. Not my favourite construction by any means. But I kind of think, well, you're making a cardigan, you need to go backwards and forwards anyway. It's not something you can knit easily in the round. And so and I don't have an issue with purl. I actually quite like purling. So I'm just back. So this yarn, living in my other Yarn Cozy as shown, is a yarn that I was watching Amora Loves Yarn, love her podcast, was watching her stories on Instagram, and she had gone to Home Bargains. She quite frequently goes to Home Bargains, and she had seen some yarn which turned out to be American yarn that they have got in there called Big Twist. I have been on a epic quest to get some of the Big Twist bright speckles. Yes, I think it is. It's the white one. I'll put a picture up here. I fell in love with the look of it. I love it. I really want to make a sweater quantity, get a sweater quantity. I've managed to obtain 5 balls. Down here, we don't appear to have, so I have been to many Home Bargains now. Wherever we've been to on our way to Essex, I called in, and I have managed to obtain 5 balls, but I still need a couple more. So I'm hoping that when I go to Knit and Natter tonight, that possibly there might be a couple in our local one. We haven't had any down here. So, I bet, no, we had two balls which I stripped off the shelves very quickly. Out of those 5 have come from Cornwall. The rest have come from a store in Somerset and a store in Kent. So I can't really get any more. Speckled Brights, that's what it's called. But whilst in there looking for that, this was also part of the Big Twist yarns. It's 100% acrylic, but it's really soft, and it was the colour. Normally I'm very much an indie dyed yarn person, but this just spoke to me, this colour. So yes, so I'm knitting it in this pattern, and we'll see how we go. This one has been put to the side slightly more because I want to finish the cotton ones, and this is probably more of an autumnal weight item once it's finished. So those are my whips, I think. Nope, yeah, knitting whips. Then, yesterday, when I saw Wonderful Vina in Essex, I was really lucky that she had made me this beautiful cross stitch bag that you can see. And so I really struggle to store any of my cross stitch projects other than in the frame, and so I'm so pleased with this beautiful bag that you can see. It's just amazing. And so I thought, well, I need a new project to go in my new bag. So I went online and had a look and found this free pattern, which I absolutely love. And if you know me at all, you'll know I'm a real beach, wild storm loving person. And this actually looks like the headband, doesn't it? Thinking about it. Yeah. So this is what, so my job this afternoon is I'm going to get all of my bits and pieces together, get my threads, my DMC mainly charted the threads. But the threads, I'm going to dish all of those out. Now this is an anchor pattern, so I'm going to have to try and use a conversion chart to find which one's a DMC, because I'm a DMC girl, and match all those up, spend some time in. I'm just looking at the box. It's box theirs of threads. That's going to be a job in itself. So see if I can match them all up and package them all up in here for a whip. I am really looking forward to it. I love a bit of cross stitch. Haven't done any for a while, so I'm really looking forward to having that as an alternative project. So I've got a crochet, a knitting and a stitching project that I can do over the next few weeks. So yeah, I think that's it for my whistle stop catch up tour. I hope everyone is doing really well, and all winter bugs and things are now vanishing away, because I think it's been quite a year for lots of people we know have been really quite unwell with things, including ourselves, obviously. And so, yeah, Wonderwall was brilliant. We had a fabulous time. We're next at the Big Flock. So the Big Flock is a show, yarn festival being held on the 16th and 17th of May in Bristol. Can't wait. And then I think the plan is that we're going to go to the Wool Monty. Never been to the Wool Monty before, but I think the plan is we're going to try that one as well. So yeah, lots of yarn shows in very few weeks, but I was very restrained at the Wonderwall. I just bought a couple of dyes and one skein for myself. That's it. So yeah. So everybody, I hope everybody's staying safe and having a good time. And I'm going to try and do some more regular things. So I was thinking about this. I want the podcast to be more regular, but I think the podcast, because I'm not the fastest knitter and crocheter, I'm thinking traditional podcasts like this maybe once a month. But also I was wondering whether anyone would be interested in maybe some yarn shop kind of info vlogs for around the southwest. So obviously I'm in Cornwall, but quite often on a Tuesday, although today is Tuesday, I will go out with my parents for lunch, take the dog out, do some things, but also weekends out we tend to go a little bit further afield if Matt can drive for us. I get too tired driving long distances now, but yeah, so I was wondering whether anyone would be interested in some vlogs around kind of yarn shops, local yarn stores within the southwest, Devon and Cornwall predominantly, but also I might be able to do some when we go to Wales, or we go away on holiday. We're going to Northumberland later in the year with family, so I'm just wondering whether a big family holiday, that is, there's 10 of us. So I'm just wondering whether you would be interested in that. If you were, drop me a comment in the comments box, because yeah, I'm more than happy to go on a little tour round and we could take you along with us to see what shops have, what facilities they have, what they sell. And I'm sure a lot of these shops will do online orders as well. So yeah, if that's something you would be interested, let me know. I also the returning viewers will know that every year for the last couple of years, my friend Genevieve and I have curated each other a yarn advent from a selection of minis that we've purchased over the year related to a mood board. This year we've given each other a mood board, but the idea is that we dye those yarns for each other. And I wondered whether I could do a series of videos around my journey of dyeing a yarn advent calendar, and whether that would be something you would be interested in as well. It's just kind of thoughts of where the channel could go, and each one of those obviously would be labelled, whether it would be a podcast, a yarn shop tour, or a yarn dyeing tour, which obviously Genevieve you will not be allowed to watch. But yes, if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know, and I will endeavour to have a look and see what people's views are. Equally, if it's something you're not interested in, please feel free to say, no, I don't really want to see that at all. Okay, yeah, take care, everybody. Spend time doing all the crafting that you love, and we'll be together again soon. Thank you very much for watching, and take care. Bye.